Hey guys, it's Cho and I'm back with another video. First off, I've got to give a major shout out to one of the yappers here in my YouTube community who gifted me this shirt. Look at what it says. It's kind of a long backstory to how this quote became something that I said, but if you want to watch kind of that whole dialogue, I'm going to be talking more in depth about the backstory to this shirt on Friday's live stream. So definitely come to Friday's live stream, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time zone. That's when I'll start. So yes, thank you to Jane Doe for the wonderful gift. I really appreciate you. And we have a lot of fun during my live streams. They're very different from these lifestyle videos. These lifestyle videos are more of a snapshot of my life, what I do, who I am, and what I'm about. The live streams are more of an in-depth, back and forth discussion into my insights. Not really a snapshot into my life, but more of a dialogue and mostly engaging. So definitely come check me out on the live streams. But today we are going to be talking about, and not so much talking about, but doing meal prep. Those that know me really well, especially in real life, know I'm all about meal prepping because not only does it save you time, which is the most important aspect, but it saves you money and it saves your health, okay? Because it adds a little bit more consistency when it comes to your diet and portion control as well. So I'm gonna do two different types of meal prep. I'm gonna make a coconut curry, which I'll be using on top of rice. And then I'll also be making breakfast. So I'll be making my overnight oats recipe, which I've tried and errored for a long time now. I've tried like 7 different iterations, and this is the one that I've quite literally settled on as my recipe, like the recipe. So I'm really excited to share both of those. If this type of content is something that you like, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more type of lifestyle videos like this. And if you are really liking the video today, leave a comment down below, okay? All right, let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm making a coconut curry today, which is super duper simple. We're gonna just saute some veggies, add tomatoes, add a bunch of different seasonings, and then finish it off with some coconut milk and some garbanzo beans. And then we'll top it off with some wilted spinach. Super duper simple, doesn't really require a recipe. But if you guys are interested in a recipe, let me know in the comment section down below, okay? And then if you guys are, then I'll post it, okay? All right, let's get started. So like I said, you don't really need a recipe for this. I tend to not really follow recipes in general. Recipes are great if you are just learning a new one, but then I usually just end up making it my own thing. And like anything that I do at home, I like to just turn it into my own. So I'll learn a recipe and then I'll just make it my own after that. And you really can do any type of vegetables that you want, but I'm just feeling kind of lazy. And yeah, we're gonna just do like a rough chop, as you can see. We'll put that aside while our pan continues to get hot. And then we're gonna do some garlic. So while our pan heats up, we are going to also do some garlic. 4 cloves of garlic. If you think that's a lot, you're not really a cook. There can never be enough garlic in a recipe. I need to really get a new knife. This knife is not the best, but I just have not prioritized shopping for a new knife because this one is working. It's just not the best. But you want to give yourself a minced rough chop of the garlic. You can also buy garlic that's already minced for you, but I find that the fresh garlic has a much more explosive flavor, which I prefer. I think that the garlic that you buy already minced can have a little bit of a more muted flavor, which causes you to have to use a little bit more of it. But if you're lazy, and sometimes I'm lazy, just buy the stuff that's already minced for you. Okay, I think that our pan is hot enough, so we're gonna coat it a little bit with oil. And then we're gonna add just our onion. We want the onion to soften a little bit before we put the garlic in, because we don't wanna burn the garlic. So we're gonna only put the onion in first. Okay, so I know that my partner is going to complain nonstop about the smells in the house. So whenever you're making things like curry or anything that makes a lot of smells, definitely always use your air vent, your vent over the oven. Okay, so the onion is cooking really well. I would say now's a good time to stop it. I usually like my onion to be a little bit more caramelized. You can see a little bit of the browning happening, but we're gonna stop it right there and add our garlic. Okay. And then just give that a stir as well. Okay, so here's another step that I kind of cheated on. Normally I would take some Roma tomatoes and just cut and dice my own tomatoes, but I'm just using canned tomatoes. I do think that you should drain them because you don't really want all of that juice in there. It'll end up being more like a tomato soup instead of a curry. So we're gonna drain a little bit of that juice out, and then we're gonna just add it to the mixture. We're adding the tomatoes. And then we're also gonna add all of our spices. Obviously, lots of curry powder. We're adding ground ginger. We're adding salt, a little bit of salt. That's gonna bring out all the flavors. We're adding a little bit of allspice. We're adding cumin. We're adding a bit of turmeric. We're adding a little bit of red pepper for a little bit of spice, but not too much. If you want like exact measurements of everything I'm putting in here, I can do it for you, but really I just let my ancestors guide my hands on what I'm cooking and how I'm cooking it. Also, we have a little bit of paste that we're mixing with water. That's just gonna add a little bit more depth of flavor in terms of tomato, and we're gonna just add that in there. I would say about a tablespoon each of water and tomato paste. Give that a good mix. It's really important to add your spices at this stage while it still has plenty of contact with the heating mechanism, because that's gonna bring out even more of the flavors in this dish. So for example, you wouldn't wanna add all of your liquid content and then add your spices, because you're gonna have a little bit more of a muted flavor profile relative to if you added it at this step. That being said, if you taste it later on and find that you need more additional spices, it's not a bad thing to add more. Next, we're going to add a little bit of chicken stock, or veggie stock, or beef stock, whatever you want really. And then we're gonna add the coconut milk. Yummy. And now at this point, we're gonna just let all of these flavors marry together. So make sure to give that a really good stir, because after you stir everything together, we're gonna add our garbanzo beans. You wanna drain them for the most part. We're just add those, mix those in. And now we're gonna just let this stew and simmer for at least 20 minutes or a little bit longer. It's going to thicken up a little bit more, and it's gonna be really tasty over rice or quinoa or with pita bread or naan, whatever you want. At this point too, you can also consider adding chopped chicken or salmon or shrimp or whatever additional protein that you like. I'm keeping mine just kind of vegetarian for the most part. Okay, so we're gonna make overnight oats while we wait for my curry to thicken up and get to the texture that I want it to get to. Kind of funny story, but I ended up filming what I thought was me making overnight oats. So this is the finished product, but then I realized that my camera was not actually filming. So I'm gonna make one more and do that all over again, but hopefully my explanations will be even better because I've already practiced. Okay, so starting off, first things first, you really want to have good containers when it comes to your overnight oats. So I like these mason jars with the wide mouth tops. I will be sure to link them in the description box below. I got them from Amazon and they were very affordable. I think I got like a pack of 12, which is more than what you'll probably need for overnight oats. But you can definitely use them for other things like sauces, side dishes, and other meal prep necessities like that. So we're gonna use that container, and my recipe is super duper simple. Just to let you guys know, I do not eat my overnight oats cold. I don't like that. So I actually warm mine up. So after I have this in the fridge overnight for 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever, I actually would throw this in the microwave with the lid off. I'll microwave it for about a minute, and that's perfect for me. So that's how I eat mine. I know that if you look up overnight oat recipes, you'll see Greek yogurt in them, but I don't like the way that Greek yogurt tastes when warmed up in the microwave, so I do not add Greek yogurt to mine. My recipe is super duper simple. We start off with whole oats, and then I have some chia seeds mixed with a little bit of flax seeds. I have almond milk. I also use a protein powder called Isopure Zero Carb Protein. It's in the flavor creamy vanilla, and this is an Isopure whey protein. What that means is that it's gonna be a lot easier on the tummy. I sometimes act like I'm lactose intolerant. It's kind of strange. I'm lactose intolerant for some things, and then for other things, not so much. I find in general that whey protein is a lot cleaner than other proteins. It kind of strips everything away and saves just the pure isolate of whey. And so it leads to less digestive issues. So let's start this. We're gonna start with half a cup of oats. Very easy. And then we're gonna go in with about 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. Mine has a little bit of flax seeds mixed in there, but you definitely want chia seeds for sure. Chia seeds is like a superfood. It has a really high amount of both protein and fiber, so that's really good for a variety of different health concerns and goals. Then, this is kind of an extra step, but one that I think is very important. I actually mix my protein powder in a blender bottle. Now, if you don't have a blender bottle, that's okay. You can mix it in a large bowl or anything that can just help you to mix it up. I find that it's easier to mix your protein powder up a lot better separate from the container that you're using for your overnight oats. And then we're gonna take about 3/4 cup of almond milk. Almond milk is super low in calories. I'm always trying to be a little bit skinnier, so this is good for keeping the body fat content down. For those that have been watching my social media for a while, you know I've been experimenting with different overnight oats recipes, and I finally figured out that this is the one that works for me. It's super flavorful, it's really easy, and it's really nutritious as well. When you add up all the macros, it ends up being almost 40 grams of protein and at least 10 grams of fiber, I think. I'll for sure put the exact macros up on the screen so you guys can review that. Now at this point, you definitely can stop right there because this is definitely a complete overnight oats recipe. It has the vanilla flavor from the protein powder, and if you get a really good protein powder, then that's all you really need. But for me, I feel like I deserve a little bit of an extra treat. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my cinnamon dolce latte syrup that I've made homemade from scratch, and I'm gonna add a little bit of extra sweetness there. Again, that's pretty optional. You don't have to do that, but if you want a little bit more extra sweetness, you can add whatever you like. Honey, maple syrup's also a really good one. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit of cinnamon too, just because, you know, the cinnamon dolce syrup is not enough for me. I wanna add a little bit more, but really get creative with your overnight oats. You can add dried fruit, you can add nuts like almonds or pecans or walnuts. You can add fresh fruit like blueberries or bananas. So really turn your overnight oats recipe into your own. You can use mine as an inspiration. I'll definitely list all of the ingredients that I use for my base recipe, and then you can just turn this into your own and let me know what you end up doing for yourself. But after putting the lid on tightly, you just put this in the fridge overnight for 12 hours, and then you're gonna have your oatmeal in the morning time. Again, I take the lid off in the morning and then I just simply put it in the microwave for about a minute, and I've got hot oatmeal ready to go, jam-packed with protein, fiber, and just a really, really nutritious start to the day. Okay, so we've got our breakfast for the next 5 days. I like this style of meal prepping because really, while I'm super boring, I eat the same thing every day for a whole week. You can actually make them very different. So maybe one day you sweeten it with honey, another day you sweeten it with maple syrup, another day you have blueberries, another day you have bananas. You can really mix this up and make sure that you have a variety when meal prepping. Meal prepping does not have to be boring, okay guys? And now we're just looking at our curry. It's thickened up a little bit, not really enough to my liking. I like my curry to be a little bit on the thicker side. So I'm gonna continue to let this simmer for a while longer, and then that will be done as well. I'll add some spinach to it right when it's about ready to be done, and that is going to be so yummy. I cannot wait. But yeah, that is some meal prep. Really easy. I'll have dinner for several days. I'll have breakfast for several days. We've got Duke right here who's just all in the way. And yeah, that's looking good for now. Okay, we're gonna just put these in the fridge. These are mine. It's so funny because you guys can see these are the overnight oats of my partner. I actually make his a little bit differently. I put less milk in his because he likes his to be a little bit more on the chunkier, thicker side. And he also doesn't like the protein powder that I use, so this has no protein powder. But yeah, I have the Bon Maman containers to differentiate between mine and his. Okay, so my curry has gotten to the consistency that I like it to be. I like it to be a little bit on the thicker side. And now we're gonna add a couple handfuls of spinach. I actually like quite a bit of spinach. I would say about 3 cups packed. And it looks like a lot now, and it is a lot, but this is actually going to wilt and it's going to become a lot smaller in size. Spinach is one of those things that's also very nutrient dense despite its small weight. So we're gonna just continue to mix this up. You may want to keep the heat on. I decided to turn the heat down because it had gotten a little bit thicker than I wanted it to get, but I think the heat will be enough for this. And yeah, we'll just keep mixing this up and until the spinach gets down to a wilt, and then we'll let you know how it looks in a little bit. Okay, while my curry wilts the spinach, I'm going to get some other ingredients out. I like to meal prep rice, so I've got some rice right here that I'm going to have, and I also keep things like broccoli, and these are leftovers from a restaurant, but then also things like green beans. So I like to keep lots of things in the fridge, which gives me flexibility when it comes to picking what I want to eat that day. When I'm meal prepping, I like to have different options so that I never get bored. So I like to keep things like that. We're gonna just pop this in the microwave, if I can get the lid open. And yes, I like to meal prep eggs too. Yes, I did just boil 14 eggs because my body is the type of body that lives off of eggs. But we're gonna just put that in the microwave for about a single minute. As you can see, that spinach has completely wilted down, and this is looking phenomenal. This is looking really good. Now, like I said before, you can add things like chicken to this, like chicken breast. You can add salmon or shrimp and really just make it whatever you want to make it. But for me, this is looking really good. It tastes good. I tried it, and I cannot wait to add it on top of rice and have my dinner. Oh my God, guys. That is phenomenal. That has so much flavor. And I promise you, that really only takes you about 30 minutes to make. If you're not making like a meat protein, if you're making chicken or salmon, you can add about a good 15 minutes to your cook time. But for a vegan vegetarian meal, that's literally 30 minutes and you're done. That's really good. Oh my God. I have not made this in a long time, so I forgot how freaking amazing it was. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. A couple meal prep ideas for you, a little bit of insight into my life. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like it if you did and comment down below. What do you think about these two recipes that I shared? And give me some of your ideas for meal prepping to save time, to save your health, and to save your wallet. Let me know. Talk to you guys later. Bye.